Oh God, McLaren!
He's gone.
He's been in the pit 40 seconds!
Whoa.
Front wing! Careful with the front wing! God! Matisse, it's happening, mate. I'm putting on my lucky new Ferrari hat. Oh no!
Oh, Sainz.
Leclerc.
It's Leclerc. Drama.
Take that out.
Introducing FANZONE. My friend Elliot from Canada.
We are still
Say we
top of the league. Say we are top of the league. We are top of the league. Say we are top of the league.
Allows any fan, anywhere you are on the planet, to broadcast live into our shows at the push of a button via our website or app.
I'm tired of hearing about the Europa League like it's silverware. So is the League Cup. So is the Dubai Cup. So is the Community Shield.
Ah, Michael, come on, they're not the same level.
No, I mean it!
Cecile. My guy.
FANZONE on AFTV Plus. You can download it on iOS or the Play Store and have your say.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to AFTV FANZONE. As I said, it'll be me here every Monday live at 5 p.m. to talk to you guys and girls out there. Download the AFTV Plus app. There's a link in the description and you can take part too. And yeah, we're going to talk. We will wait for people to log in. And when you're ready, we will go straight into it. And as you can see from the thumbnail, the title, the breaking news today, or supposed breaking news, it seems that Saliba is out of the game against City, and he could be out a lot longer than expected. I mean, I'll go straight into and I'll read the tweet from David Ornstein, obviously via The Athletic. The tweet says, Arsenal will be without William Saliba for Man City trip on Wednesday. 22-year-old defender's back injury not showing sufficient progress. Also likely to miss the Chelsea game next week. Increasing concern, season is over but not confirmed. Doesn't read well for Arsenal fans, and it's come at a time when back to back drop points, because that's what it feels like, regardless of a trip to Anfield and how difficult that may be. A London derby there with West Ham and an inexcusable result and performance against Southampton. This news has hit hard now, because I did have some hope that we might see a 70%, 80% fit Saliba start in the game. I think he's integral to everything Arsenal have done this season. A very important player for us, not just defensively but offensively too. The numbers don't lie. You look at XG with Saliba in the side and you look at XG since he's been absent, a massive drop off. I haven't confirmed the stats, but it does look like we were second in the league with Saliba there in XG, and now we are 19th if we're just taking the games into account that he's missed. So defensively we can talk all day about the quality Saliba possesses over Rob Holding and the difference in that department, but offensively there has been some damage. Well, I say a lot of damage to our build-up play, breaking the lines, our confidence and composure at the back, and that's something that this team this season has been built off, playing out at the back, being confident in possession, being composed under pressure, and just one player missing, and I won't say it's all unraveled because we haven't lost games, but when you look at the level of the opponents in West Ham and in Southampton, put Liverpool aside for a sec, they should have been wins regardless of Saliba being there or not. And James said it best. I mean, Rob Holding doesn't necessarily have clippable moments in terms of errors and costing us, but you look at the numbers, you look at the overall lack of domination that we've had in games in the past, three, it plays a very big part. It plays a very big part, and you can't put those results down to Rob Holding. Like I said, we should still be winning those games regardless, and it wasn't just Rob Holding I was looking at off the back of those games. A lot of players, didn't stand up when we needed them to stand up. And yeah, here we are. Out of the last 9 points, we've got 3 going into that game at the Etihad. 5 points clear at the top, yes. I know there's a lot of fans that are leaning towards that side of things and looking at, the lead we have, recognizing that games in hand are not necessarily points on the board, but we are talking about Man City here, and we are talking about a Man City that have found their best form this season. So even at best, if you want to say out of those 2 games in hand, they win 1 and draw 1, they're right on our necks. And this is us sitting here before the Etihad game, where me personally, I don't have high hopes of 3 points, if I'm honest. I would take a draw, if I'm honest, but I can't see nothing other than a City win, if I'm honest. That's not a defeatist attitude. I do think there's a chance we can do something. I mean, I've, call on the spirit of 89, 2002 at Old Trafford. Games that a lot of fans probably didn't. Obviously, I wasn't around for 89. I was only 1 year old. But 02, Old Trafford, there was a lot of doubts whether Arsenal can do it. We did do it. Maybe it's time to look back at those and hopefully Arteta's used those moments to try and galvanise the team, to try and give them more hope and more belief that we can come out of that City game still in contention for the league. And I think a draw would still give us hope and belief. But in all honesty, if you ask me, and this is just me, I'm not speaking for anyone else, I do think the previous two results, more so the Southampton one, has really cost us. I just did a show on City Extra, which should be coming out real soon. Robbie was on it, Lewis, obviously City Extra, and Hugh, big up Hugh, the big six. And I just described it as, when you're playing a game, I used to play Zelda back in the day, N64 times, or Mario, or any of these type of games. When you reach a final boss, you want to reach that final boss with a few lives in your back pocket. It feels like we've used up all our lives heading into the final boss, and we've got one left. That's the analogy I'm going to use for this one. We're coming up against the final boss. We have no lives left. This is it now. It's now or never. But a draw, in my opinion, would still leave certain level of hope and belief that maybe City can drop points somewhere else down the line. I just believe that maybe we do as well. No one expected us to drop points against West Ham. No one expected us to drop points against Southampton. But here we are, having dropped points in both. So we can't look at Newcastle away as a formality. We just saw what they did to Tottenham just yesterday. We can't look at Brighton at the Emirates as a win. We know how good Brighton have been this season. They was unlucky not to make it through in the semi-final of the FA Cup against Man United, but one of the top teams. Pep Guardiola described them as the best team playing out of the back, and they're up there, that's for sure. They're up there, so that won't be an easy game. Chelsea are dead, but they've had nothing to be happy about this season. But best believe their fans would walk away from the Emirates if they were to take something from us and finally smile this season, because there is a rivalry there. Chelsea fans don't want us to win this league. They're not alone in that. Man United fans, Tottenham fans, some Liverpool fans even though a lot of the Liverpool fans I do speak to online and I do know would favour us to win it. Not Grizz. Obviously, if you watch the Big Six, you know how Grizz's tune has changed over the last couple months. But yeah, it feels like it's us against the world, and it feels like we're losing the battle at this moment in time. The war's not over, but we can't keep on losing these battles, and we've got a big battle coming this Wednesday. You might look at it as the war, because it is now or never. As always, you know what FANZONE's about. AFTV Plus is the app. There's a link in the description. Download the app, follow the instructions. You can take part 2, but if you're in the live chat, please do put your comments in and I will get through as many as I can. He'll be here with the super chat. Says, we suddenly look terrified on the ball. For this reason, I think Trossard has to start at City. His control is great. I don't know if Mikel will drop Jesus though. So you've saved me the question, maybe, of asking who you would put Trossard in for. And that is the most difficult question here. We was at the Etihad yesterday, me, James, Robbie, Cecil. And me, James and Robbie recorded a predicted 11. And when asked about the forward line, I said, as soon as that Southampton game was over, I said similar to you, it'd be Trossard has to start against City. But when asked, who does he start in front of? Very difficult question. You mentioned Jesus. Would you want to leave out one of your more experienced players against his old club? I wouldn't. I understand why you would suggest Jesus, but for me, I feel like he has to play. Saka, I feel like he has to play. Yes, he's been quiet in the last few weeks. I think Southampton, especially that second half, his performance did pick up. He got a goal and assist in the 90. But overall, we know how important Saka is to us. And Martinelli, I don't even need to talk on. I think in this crucial stage of the season, after that loss to Manchester City, no one has stood up to the fight. No one has stood up to the pressure as much as Martinelli has. You look at his numbers, and his numbers don't lie. He's on 15 goals for the season. I think 8 of those have come since the Manchester City game. So just over half has come during what many would describe as the most crucial period in our season, considering the good work we've done before to put us where we are at the top of the league. I think Martinelli is the one that has really stood up and made a fight of it. Our biggest goal threat, in my opinion. So, yes, the general feeling after the Southampton game was Trossard has to start. But as the days passed, I just can't see who he starts in front of. It's hard to really say. Maybe the chat has some suggestions here. Maybe let me know. I will look at some of the comments while the chat lets me know who their front three would be. And maybe people that are getting ready to log in, have that in your mind too. Patrick says, what about Tomiyasu? Tomiyasu's injured. So it's not only the Saliba injury that's costing us, it's also Tomiyasu, because at least with Tomiyasu fit and available, we would have the option to push Ben White into his old centre-back partnership with Gabriel and play Tomiyasu right back. We had the option to play Tomiyasu as the right-sided centre-back, which he has done previously to Arsenal, I believe. Without him, coupled up without Saliba, that's what makes finding a fix to this problem so difficult. So, yeah, our hands are tied behind our back. Very hard to see if Arteta can do anything different. There has been a few suggestions about going 3/5 at the back and maybe slotting in Kieran Tierney into a back three. Maybe slotting Ben White into a back three with Holding Holding in the middle and Gabriel the other side, and then Tierney or Zinchenko playing in the right back position. Many suggestions, but none that we've seen in action, none that we've seen work. So it's really hard for me to say definitively that this would be better or that would be better. So imagine how hard it is for Arteta, who has one roll of the dice at it right now. No lives left. Manchester City at the Etihad, and we do have callers coming in. So I'm going to get ready to talk to some of the fans that are tuning in, some of the fans that have made themselves available for a quick conversation. We are just over 10 minutes in, so hit the like button, people. If you haven't done so already, there's 1,100 in the building, so love for the love. Let's get it up to what if there's 1,100 here, let's get it up to 500 likes real quick, people. And you know what, this is becoming somewhat of a regular. Harvey first up, so let's bring Harvey on the screen. What are you telling me, Harvey, man? You good?
I mean, as good as I can be regarding Arsenal, but everything else I think is pretty good.
Back to back, man. I understand. You know, I've started these Monday afternoon fan zones off the back of 2 disappointing results, to say the least. I think that's putting it lightly in disappointing. But Harv, man, let's touch in on Southampton first. And where do you think it went wrong? Because we discussed West Ham and Liverpool last Monday, and we looked at whether it was pressure, whether it was a bit of overconfidence, arrogance. Against Southampton, we slipped up in a different way. Instead of going 2 up, we went 2 down. I don't think that's what we wanted to see, but what do you think went wrong?
To be honest with you, Turkish, I think Southampton was just one of those days, which I think is perhaps a bit stupid to say, considering the fact that we dropped points in previous fixtures. But a mistake from playing out the back, listen, that happens. A keeper, especially the kind of way that we play, that's going to happen. A good, through ball with a decent, finish from Walker going 2-0 down, those days can happen. But those days where we have a poor start, even though they're difficult pills to swallow, I wasn't that vexed after 2-0. I was very, very pissed off after, we conceded a set piece, because last year we went almost a whole entire season without conceding a set piece, and now it seems to be a regular occurrence. Why is that a thing? But I don't know, man. Honestly, I'm still vexed about Liverpool. I'm still vexed about West Ham. So when Southampton came around and everybody else was on their positivity train, I at that point I was just like, whatever. I was already annoyed. I already said it was done. So it was just one of those. Honestly, that whole entire Southampton experience, bro. We were looking at this game and building up to it like it was a Champions League final. Southampton should have been a easy win at home, where the discussions and the debate should have been about should we rotate some key players to make sure there's no injuries against, City or whatever? And instead, what should have been a public execution on paper turned into the title fight on a UFC match. Arsenal versus Southampton, the clash, title on the line. I heard some guy in the Twitter space saying that he's praying to God during the holy months to make sure that we beat Southampton. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, with all the things that God has in his plate, you're that worried about Southampton. But that just goes to show the state that this fan base sometimes go through. And yet, even now, the positivity merchants, are over here. Yeah, we're going to thump City. We're going to thump City. It's just like, bro, let it go. Be pragmatic. Be realistic. League's done. Be hopeful. I'm still going to tune in and watch it on Wednesday. But come on, let's be pragmatic here.
Listen, I'd love nothing more for them to be right, but I'm with you, Harvey. I mean, you mentioned last week that you've watched me over the last couple of years, and yeah, pessimism tends to take over more than optimism. But it is. I want to ask you, Harv, because leading up to the City game at the Emirates, we had an 8-point cushion, lost to Everton, drew to Brentford. That allowed City the chance to beat us and go above us in the league. There has been similar steps towards this game coming up at the Etihad, where we had a much bigger cushion, a nicer cushion, a few lives in our back pocket, and we've dropped points in 3 games in a row, leading to this one being a game where, all right, if Manchester City beat us, they don't go top of the league, but what it does do is pretty much put an end, in my opinion, to our title ups. Is that a coincidence that leading up to both games we've dropped points and maybe our performance level has gone down, or do you put more emphasis on maybe us taking our eye off the ball and looking at the game coming up against City as, make or break?
I think regarding the first City game, I think the nerves got to us, given the fact that we gave them, I think, that game. I said after that game that the league was done. I think we spoke about that very briefly last week. And I think that regarding Liverpool and West Ham specifically, I think it's been more complacency. I don't know if it's an eye on City, but I think that this team lacks a certain ruthlessness. These teams, I think, need to enjoy what it feels like to absolutely pummel a team 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. They haven't yet tasted that. And I think that the fact that they lack that hunger angers me. Because this league could very easily, had we not dropped those games, it could have very easily gone down to goal difference when you looked at the remaining fixtures.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at West Ham, or I'm 2-0 up against Liverpool, or Southampton at home, I'm not thinking I want to walk away here with the 3 points. I'm thinking to myself, I got to beat these guys by 4, 5, 6 goals, because this league can come down to goal difference. So the fact that you're 2-0 up, and you're not thinking to yourself, oh my God, like you this desperation where like, I got to score 6. I got to score 6. The fact that you don't have that mentality is why you don't deserve to win the league.
Yeah.
That to me says a lot, that you decided to get all comfortable after being 2-0 up, take your foot off the gas. You've done the tactical inside show with James. You saw less pressures, less pressing, and not as much as intensity, not going in for those 50-50 tackles. What have you accomplished? Our team, individually speaking, people like to say Saka's world class. No, he's not. He's a good player, but Saka has never taken on 6 guys on from the halfway line and bent it in. He's not Messi. Relax. Our team individually are good players. It's as a unit that they're a great team. But our team is not individually talented enough to take their foot off the gas and be in third gear. They're not.
Yeah.
And to get that cocky when you haven't accomplished anything is unforgivable. But maybe this is the kind of trauma that they need to actually, have a little bit of that ruthlessness to them.
Do you think that Ramsdale error in the first minute of the Southampton game has anything to do with what you mentioned about arrogance, maybe some overconfidence?
To be honest with you, when it comes to modern goalkeepers, I'm much more forgiving.
Yeah.
I think that especially with the English game, I think the English fan base didn't really change their mentality on this until really Guardiola came in. And even then, the first year, City fans of all people were saying, oh, the little tippy-tappy crap doesn't work in the English game. But I've been watching that kind of football for a while, so I'm much more forgiving. You see an open lane, you get comfortable, you look down, you think the pass is there, they're waiting for it. I think it's just I can forgive those mistakes from keepers. When it happens frequently, that's when I'm like, okay, you're not paying attention. But I'm much more forgiving with keepers when it comes to that kind of thing.
I'm with you on that. I've got a couple questions for you. I'll start with this one. How would you set up defensively against City, or how would you set up in general formation-wise? Do you do what we've been doing, or do you change it up considering the level of the size of the game, the level of the opponents?
Honestly, when Saliba got injured, I spoke with James in an AFTV space, and I was actually calling for Tierney to come in because we had been playing a much more conservative 3-2-5 rather than a 2-3-5 with Ben White tucking in more. And I was like, you know what, Gabriel, so many times you see how far up he gets on the left-hand side. Might as well put Tierney there, who has center back experience, and play with Tierney, Gabriel, and Ben White with Zinchenko and Partey in a midfield pivot. You know, I think that works well. And if we have a lot of possession, well, then Ben White can go ahead and push up. Why everyone is fearful about 2 left-footed center backs, Spain did that against the World Cup, and they had no problem with that. They play with Pau Torres and Emile Laporte. You play your best players. But now, the fact that that hasn't been tried, now you're experimenting in a big game. So the opportunity to have done it, we didn't do it. So now it's just like, well, all right, Mikel, you do what you want to do, but I'm not for experimenting in a big game.
So so I take it that you would go with Ben White right back, Zinchenko left back, Holding, and Gabriel.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Understood. If I could shake your hand now, Harvey, and say we're taking a draw from the Etihad, would you shake my hand, or do you think it's a necessity to win this?
Necessity to win it. Listen, Turkish, I think we're going to lose this league. But had we lost this league because we lost against Liverpool after a tough game, not bottling a lead at City and then Newcastle, fair enough. You know, like, you can go to law school, you can take the bar, and there's still a 50% chance you're going to fail it. That's how difficult it is. But if you decided not to study for the exam and go drinking the night before, you're making it harder for yourself. You know what I mean? It's something that's already difficult to do in the first place. Don't make it any more difficult for yourself by shooting yourself in the foot. Like, you already have a difficult task at hand. Facilitate the conditions where you can allow yourself some mistakes where you're inevitably going to fail. You took away whatever cushion you could have. You dropped 3, points 3 times on the bounce. And now you have an opportunity to at least make up for your mistakes. This club has a history of making it difficult for itself. Anfield 89, when we were ahead in the league and we let it slip. Champions League final, red card in the first couple of minutes. This club has a history of making things difficult for itself. And for once, let's actually try to overcome it and say, you know what, we made it hard for ourselves, but it was good for the plot, and let's go ahead and get that win. If not, what the hell are you fighting for?
I hear you. All right, well, let's round it up. I want to ask you prediction for Wednesday night's game. Maybe I'll go first. I think City are beating us. Maybe that'll make it easier for you to say the same thing, because it seems that that's what you're gonna say. But I do think, I just don't see us taking anything from City, especially the way we've been playing recently. And to be honest with you, even if we beat West Ham and we beat Southampton, I still would have found this game as one where very difficult to take 3 points, to say the least.
I mean, listen, man, the positivity merchants are going to come for me, but dude, we're getting pummeled 3-4-1.
Yeah, 3-4-1.
It's gonna be a battering.
Listen, I hope we're wrong. I do really, really hope and pray that we are wrong, but
same.
I understand where you're coming from, my bro. Listen, I'm sure I'll talk to you again next Monday, maybe before. Take care of yourself, Harv, man. You and the family all good? Everything
is good, my man. How's everyone going? I know you were going through some stuff. Is everyone coping well?
Yeah, man. It's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, we're getting by. We're getting by.
I hear that, man. Well, listen, much love to you, bro. I'll see you in DC when you come down here. So we'll keep chatting until then.
100%, Harv. If anything, message me on Twitter or something. I'll get your number so we can communicate a bit easier leading up to that pre-season tour. Yeah?
For sure, my man. We'll do.
All right, love, Harv. I got a couple super chats and I'll bring in the next caller. Ryan says, Turks, I want to call in and chat to you, but I'm on my way to work for the start of my night shifts this week. So depending on how long you're going on for this, I'll try. Ryan, first and foremost, have a good day at work, my guy. Night shifts are never easy, but you have to make the money. So hopefully it all goes well. And if you can log in, please do log in. I am here every Monday, Ryan, as you know. So if you don't get a chance today, then make sure you're here next Monday. Bob Marley says, imagine if the players had the mentality of the fans. It's a massive success. 90 points, 80 plus goals, injuries, no depth, youngest team. How aren't fans buzzing? Bob, I understand where this comment's coming from, because you're not wrong. I don't think we'll get 90 points, but the season we're having is a great season in comparison to the seasons we've had in recent years, recent history. The style of football, how much we've come on in terms of both defensively and offensively, the signings and how they've hit the ground running, how much we like our players now. But using the word success, I cannot do. Success is winning. something, not winning a chunk of your games across the season and ending with nothing. Success is winning something. Now put Carabao Cup aside because I don't give two shits about that cup. FA Cup, Europa League, Champions League if you're in it, Premier League, winning these is success. I can't say it's success if we don't win the Premier League. But I have witnessed, like you said, a season where we nearly touch 90 points, possibly touch it, whatever happens, where we score this many amount of goals, where we've found a renewed connection with the players and belief in the club. I can't call that a success. How aren't fans buzzing? It's hard to be buzzing. Listen, this goes back to when I was young, supporting Arsenal in title races with Manchester United. You're buzzing to be there, but at the same time, there's twists and there's turns and there's nerves. I remember that season, I think it was 04. It was 04. I'm pretty sure it was 04. We got knocked out of the FA Cup by United. We got knocked out of the Champions League by Chelsea. And then we had that Liverpool game. I was so nervous for that Liverpool game because I felt like the form we're in, we could potentially F it all up. F it all up. And that was a great team with legendary players. It's just when you're competing for major honours and you've got a battle on your hands, it's hard to be buzzing right now considering the situation we put ourselves in. I'll go back to the analogy. It feels like we had 3 lives in the back pocket, but now we're going into the Etihad with no lives left. I would have liked a bit more of a cushion because it's so difficult to foresee 3 points at the Etihad. And just as I'm talking, I see Tottenham confirmed departure of Stellini with Ryan Mason taking over as head coach. Well, that should fix things over at Tottenham. But yeah, this ain't the Tottenham show. Fuck them. But let's move. Who's the next caller, production? Dini in the building. Dini, you there?
Yes, Turkish. I'm there. You good?
What are you telling me, man? You good?
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm feeling all right. Bit nervous because we got a big week ahead and stuff. So yeah. Yeah,
man. Big week. Well, it's 48 hours away.
Yeah.
Where do I start? Listen, let's start with Saliba, Dini, because it's more or less been confirmed that he's going to be out of the tie. Is that fatal for our chances at the Etihad, or do you still believe?
I don't think it's fatal. And I do still believe, just on the simple premises, that football is a game that can be won or lost in a second. Do you know what I mean? And it would be great if we had Saliba, but I don't think it's fatal. And I don't think obviously we haven't been defending well over the last 3 games, but it's been more down to mentality than selection of players, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Just in those moments where we decide to like with Ramsdale, I have to think what are the players saying to themselves in my head? I can see what's ahead of me. Should I pass it to them or should I kick it over? Or are they just, do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's just those slight moments. So it's not fatal, but obviously it would be great if we could have Saliba. Do you know what I mean? It would be absolutely brilliant. But
yeah,
we go there, and we just have to go there and play how we play.
We go there indeed, Dini. All right. Well, what would you do? Would you? I don't know if you were listening to me and Harvey's conversation, but
I was absolutely was.
Would you change us up defensively, or would you go in with this with the back 4 that we've gone in with for the past however many games?
I would go with the same back 4, but I would actually take, and this might actually sound crazy, I would take a leaf out of Sheffield United's book, because I watched the game, the FA Cup game on, was it Saturday? And for the first half, they did hold out City and they were catching them on the break. Now, are we saying we can't do something simple like just tying it up a little bit and we have the players to catch City on the break? We could do that. And with the chances that Sheffield United had, I would bet on Arsenal scoring at least one of those. Do you know what I mean? With the players that we got, it's an idea that we can do. I wouldn't shake things up too much because I feel like too much shaking up of the defense might just, I don't know. It just wouldn't sit right with me. I would just go with the players know what to do. The job it's hard, but the task, when you listen to it, it's simple. Do you know what I mean? We have to beat City. Don't do stupidness. It's very simple. Don't do no stupidness. And we could potentially win the game, but am I confident that we're going to win? No. But weirdly, I do think we will win. Why? I have no idea, Turkish.
Dreaming. That's what it is.
Maybe so.
We've got a dream. We've got a dream.
Do you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. It is a dream. My dream is a dream simply because I've just been saying on the whim that months ago we've seen this match coming on the rise, and I've been saying this is going to be the game of the season. I do believe it's going to be the game of the season. But my friend told me on Saturday after the Southampton game that he was having nightmares that we were getting battered by City on Wednesday. So either my dream's gonna come true or his nightmare's gonna come true. Something's gonna happen. Yeah,
this is sounding like another Meek Mill tape, dreams and nightmares. But yeah, let's hope it's the former and it's a dream come Wednesday night. What about the forward line? I mentioned before speaking to Harv that after the Southampton game, I said to myself, Trossard's got to start. But as the days have passed, I don't know how I would fit him in.
Yeah, because Trossard's a brilliant player. He's an absolutely brilliant player, but Jesus, he just links up. He just knows how to link it up so much better. I think Trossard can do it, but just not to the level of Jesus. The only thing that's the problem with Jesus right now is just his finishing. We know he can finish, but it's like in those moments, you could just finish the goal. That's the only thing, if anything. But his link-up play with everything is just brilliant. And he's the person that knows the City players the best. Their weaker sides, how they move and this, that, and the other. Like, you don't want to lose that. Trossard is a brilliant option to come off the bench.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I find it very difficult to take out any of the front three, Jesus, Martinelli and Saka.
But I wouldn't be mad about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really be mad about it.
I'd be mad if it's Martinelli, Dini.
Yeah.
Out of three, I'd be mad if it's Martinelli because, like I said, I just feel like he's the one that stood up most.
Yeah,
in
especially
this
over the last
period.
few games as well.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Same question I asked Harv, Dini. If I could shake your hand now and say we leave Etihad with a draw, would you take that, or do you think it's a necessity to get the 3 points, having lost out on 6 of the last 9?
You know what? I actually believe it's a necessity to get 3 points. Usually I might say, yeah, I would shake your hand and let's hope that City might lose one of their games at hand, but I don't want to put it in City's hands. I don't. So I wouldn't take the point. I would win or lose, do or die. That's it.
Do or
It's
die.
do or die. So yeah.
So I assume if we lose the game, you're gonna say the title's over.
It's practically over. It won't be over, but it's like a 99.999% chance that it is done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have to hope that the juggernaut in City lose. And I hate. Don't you just hate putting things in other people's hands? Do you know what I mean? It's just not nice. So yeah, it will be tough.
Yeah, it will be tough. Dini, as always, it's been a pleasure talking to you, my guy.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
Can I
of
say
course.
one more thing?
Of course.
Now this is very interesting.
I like your T-shirt, by the way. I can't even lie. Sorry, I had to mention that.
Come on, gang business.
Come on.
One thing, and it's actually very, and it relates to the Newcastle Tottenham game, but I'll relate it back to Arsenal.
Yep.
Now, the last time, I think we might say, as things are looking right now, Newcastle are going to finish above Tottenham, right?
Yep.
The last time Newcastle finished above Tottenham was 19 years ago. What happened 19 years ago, Turkish?
Listen, a great thing happened, my guy. A great thing that will go down in history. Well, that has gone down in history.
Yeah.
Arsenal lifted the title.
The league. We won't be invincible, but we did win the league.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Okay, so you found the light at the end of the tunnel leading.
A little light. It's a little light, Turkish. If you really look, you can see it.
Listen, I might need to go opticians because I can't see that light yet. But listen, I'm gonna try, my guy. I'm gonna try.
I hear it, my bro. I hear it. But anyway, always love Turkish, man.
Come on, Dini. Always love, my guy. Look after yourself, man. Family, everything,
definitely, man. Take care.
Yeah, I got a couple of super chats in before I move it on to the next caller. 40 side says, "What do we do about our back four? Holding has a few visible errors, but our overall level drops when he plays. Ben White centre back and KT on the right, perhaps." That is one of the suggestions that have been made. If we are to do something different where Ben White goes next to Gabriel, I'd probably put Zinchenko on the right just because he floats anyway, and I'd have Tierney to kind of secure the left-hand side a bit more. That would probably be what I'd do. Because with Zinchenko on the left and Tierney on the right, we still have those issues where we can be exposed on our left-hand side as well. Whereas playing Zinchenko on the right and having Ben White as the right centre-back, you still have that cover in Ben White there. And on the left-hand side, you've got Tierney, who defensively, in my opinion, is the better better player. So that would probably be the way I look at it. But in the selection process for this Etihad game, Arteta's kind of in a lose-lose if we don't get the result we want. If he goes in with the same back four and we don't get a result and our title dreams fade away completely, then a lot of people will say, oh, he should have done this, he should have done that, he should have played this person there and maybe tried him out there. If he does change it up and goes with a back three, back five, if he does put KT or Zinni on the right hand side and we don't get the result, then a lot of people are going to say, why is he changing it up? We haven't tried and tested this previously. He should have gone in with the same back four. So if we don't get the result, it's a lose-lose for Arteta in terms of his backline selection. So I don't want to be too harsh and critical, because with not just Saliba out and Tomiyasu out, like I said before, our hands are tied behind our back. But thank you for the super chat. Thanos says, why hasn't Ben White played centre back once? I guess that's kind of similar to 40 sides super chat. With Tomiyasu here, I believe he would have. Without Tomiyasu, options are light. Like being 40, we're just saying maybe a left back in the right back position could be a solution, but it could also end up unraveling everything completely. So it's hard to say. Miles says, there is an age-old saying in football, great strikers win games, but great defenders win you trophies. Who we start as front three against City is irrelevant. Fact is, we have conceded 6 goals in the last 3. Make that 7 goals. 3 against Southampton, 2 against West Ham, 2 against Liverpool. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think it's necessarily just the defense that wins you trophies, because the attack needs to play a big part in that, especially in modern day football as well, and the amount of goals that you see being scored by title winning teams at the top level in Europe. But you do need a good base to work off, which is why Arteta gets a lot of credit for building a base that, just a few years ago we thought would have probably taken a lot longer to get to where we are now. It's hard to really say. Quite a few callers have come in. Let me get this 1980 super chat in. Do I think we can win? Yes. Do I think we will? Unfortunately, no. It would be something special to go there and win. To win the league, you need to do something special. Fingers crossed. Come on, you Gunners completely agree. To win leagues, you need to do something special, and winning at the Etihad at this point of the season, where we're at now in the form we're in, would be something special. Who we got next, production? Siri, I believe.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Siri.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, nervous.
I'm nervous too. But I kind of feel like very flat after the game. Even when Odegaard scored the second goal, I wasn't excited, or I was feeling very flat, because I've been watching this club many years, and it feels like I've been through this a whole lot of times. So with the City game, it would be good if we win, but tactically, I've been thinking about it for a long time. Tactically, I don't know if we can beat City, the way we've been performing this league. I know it's very unfortunate to criticize the tactics, even when we have been so successful this season. But our out of possession game, I think it will be kind of hard to. I don't see as how we can defend out of possession, and I would play the same players, except for Saliba. Holding has to play, and I'm kind of nervous when he has to deal with the air duels against Haaland and stuff like that.
So you're not entertaining. You're not entertaining switching it up at all because of some doubts about Holding. You're going with the same back four that we have available.
Yeah. We kind of have to go with the Holding, and he needs to play his part. I don't want to be negative on him before the game. Even after the game, I would just want to criticize, but I just don't see. I know we'll go a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-3 when we have the possession. Out of possession, I don't want us to go a mid block, but I want the box midfield to be intact. I want the 2 center backs. Thomas Partey have to drop a little bit deep with Xhaka and Odegaard. We need to keep that box intact, and maybe like Jesus also like drop little deep out of position and leave the wingers out, so that we can move like quick for the transitions, and also don't leave much space for City when they have the ball. You know, I want to see these things happen, but I don't know. You know, I'm nervous.
I know what you mean. If you could take a draw right now, would you take the draw?
Unfortunately, we cannot take a draw now. We have to take 3 points. But yeah, I just want to see the team put in the effort. If we get a point, that's okay. But I want to see this tactical. Like, I'm interested to see how we improve after the bottling. And no schoolboy mistakes, please. Without schoolboy mistakes, I think it's hard to beat City. But with these kind of mistakes, I think they'll smoke us. So.
Oh, we had one of those against City at the Emirates with Tomiyasu's back pass. So,
yeah,
you know,
we had 2 actually. Yeah.
You can say that. Funny that we're coming off a similar type of error in what Ramsdale did against Southampton and for the first goal. Yeah. But you are right, to beat City at the Etihad, you can't afford to be giving them any goals, that's for sure. What about the front line, Siri? Yeah. Would you stick with Jesus, Martinelli, Saka, or do you think it's time to introduce Trossard into the free?
Yeah, I will stick with the Jesus, Martinelli and Saka, because early in the game, whenever we have the possession, sometimes Jesus drops deep. That leaves like little space for Martinelli to link the play and, you know, interchange and stuff like that. So I would still get in Trossard after like 16 minutes or 58 minutes.
Yeah.
So that he can hopefully do his little bit of magic in linking up the play and trying to aim for the goals and stuff like that. But yeah, I would still go with Jesus, Saka and Martinelli.
You would still go with that.
Yeah.
And if we lose, is it title done for you?
I kind of think it's already done, but I would wait until Wednesday to confirm that. Yeah,
I hear you, Siri. Listen, thank you for taking part. We've got a few callers left still. I'm here every Monday, so if you ever get any time on a Monday, then 5 o'clock we go live. So make sure through the AFTV Plus app, you know what to do. We'll talk again, man. Look after yourself, yeah?
Okay, thank you. Come on, you Gunners. Yeah.
Come on, Arsenal. Let's do it. Ikenna, thank you for the super chat. There's no text with that, but appreciate it. That's your first super chat on the channel as well. And who we got next? We've got Elise next. Els, what are you saying?
What are you saying? You're right.
Yeah. Like I said to Siri, nervous.
Mate, nervous.
Yeah.
You know what though? I keep saying to people, like, I just think we can do it. I don't know why. Like, the logic in me is saying, don't be stupid, and it, like, don't get your hopes up. But there's just something about this game, like, leading up to it, and I felt I was dropping points, and I felt it being really, really, like, serious. And I just think we can do it. I don't know why, man. I think that with the team we've got, they can just switch on, and then all of a sudden, bam, like. But if we go 2-0 up and then go 2-2 again, I don't know.
Has that confidence wilted at all with the news that Saliba's definitely going to be out of the game?
No, I didn't. You know what? I didn't think he was going to be back, to be honest.
Yeah.
Never thought he was coming back now. And you know what, Rob? Like, it can be sketchy at times, but he played against City in the FA Cup game. Wasn't terrible. Do you know what I mean? It could be worse. So I think as a replacement, he's mature. He's got experience in that sense. So we can take that as a positive. Yeah, he's not going to be as good as Saliba would have been, but like I said, it could be worse. I'm not majorly upset about that.
Would you change anything up defensively? Would you go maybe with a back five, or would you entertain seeing Zinni or Tierney as the right back with Ben White coming in as centre back, or do you think that's too much change for such a big game?
Yeah, I think it's too much change. I think we should just stick with what we've been doing, to be honest. Maybe later on in the game, if we need something, we need a little bit of a spark, maybe, but I think we're better off sticking. But I do want to see Trossard on. I do want to see Trossard play. I think when he came on in the 1-0, in the 3-1, sorry, with Man City, he did well in that last 15 minutes he played. He made a difference. He was creating chances. You know, he really sort of shook him up a little bit. So I think it'd be interesting to see him play.
Well, who would you put him in for? What would your front three be?
I'd take Martinelli out. Nah, I know it sounds mad. Yeah, I know it sounds mad. But nah, you know why? Because I just think pressure-wise, I just don't like he's outstanding. Don't get me wrong. I don't take anything off as a player. But I think putting Trossard in there, I just think he's got that. I think he can handle the pressure a little bit more. And then we've got Martinelli then to bring on with that energy if needs be. And that's what I'm saying.
But
It sounds mad, but in my thinking, like, it makes sense.
Isn't there an argument that he is probably the one player that doesn't seem to be affected by the pressure at this time of the season? Because he's the one.
Martinelli?
Yeah, he's the one that's been scoring and. No, what you?
Yeah, he has been. No, I don't disagree there. He has been scoring, but I don't know, man. Some of the things he does, and I'm just a bit like, he looks a bit shocked sometimes, man, when he's playing. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have to just agree to disagree there. But I definitely think you can see like his youth and that in the way he plays sometimes, and I do think the pressure gets to him. Yeah, definitely.
And I know naturally you're a lot more positive and optimistic than I am as an Arsenal fan. But do you think a loss against Man City at the Etihad is title dreams over, or do you?
That's done.
Yeah,
it's done. This is it. This is it. I'm sorry. This is it, man. I'm sick. I'm sick of dropping points at silly games. I'm sick of all this talk. Like, we've got to win. We've got to win. We can win. That's what's stupid. We can win. On paper, we can win. I think we've played a lot better football than them in the past couple of, especially beginning of the season. We were playing way better football than Man City. Do you know what I mean? It just showed by where we've held top of the league basically all season. It hasn't been like a thing where we've been jumping backwards and forwards with them. We've dropped points. They've dropped. The form's been great. Like, they've been. I think with that draw, like, I think was it a draw? Or did they lose against Nottingham Forest? Like, I was looking back at their there's a draw, yeah. And I just think little slip ups like that, like. Yeah, we've drew these last 3 games, but I think that's down to, you know, hell of a amount of pressure on a young team, and we know that this game against City has been coming up, and I think it's really got to them. But I don't think that takes away from the quality of the football we've been playing at all. And I think we can outplay City, and I think it's there if we want it, but we've got to want it, and that's going to be the argument. Do we want it enough?
Do we want it enough? We'll find out Wednesday, Els, man. We'll find out Wednesday. Listen, thank you for calling in, man. We'll talk again soon for sure.
Definitely.
We'll see how Wednesday goes, but I do have a few callers waiting as well, so take care of yourself, yeah?
No worries. Take care. See you later.
See you later. A couple super chats in. Ricky says, Turkish, do you agree with ahead of the schedule? Klopp won the Champions League in his 3rd full season and lost the league by 1 point with 97 points. Do I believe we're ahead of schedule? I think we're on schedule. If you look back at content I did on my channel when Wenger was about to leave and when he eventually did leave, I said if someone comes in and does the right things and gets supported in the right way from our owners, then from where we are and the mess we're in, it'll take 3 years to at least challenge for the Premier League title again. And here we are in Arteta's 3rd full season challenging for the Premier League. So I don't agree with ahead of schedule. I think we're on schedule. Obviously, if we win the league, then I'd say that Premier League title came ahead of the schedule, but who gives a shit about schedules if you're champions of England? And Klopp winning the Champions League, I get that. Obviously, we're not in the Champions League, and in the Europa League, we tripped up yet again. But I also think Arteta's starting block was lesser than Klopp's at Liverpool, even though there's an argument to be had there. I just think, obviously, under Brendan Rodgers, Liverpool were close to winning the league title. It fell apart, and then Klopp came in shortly after and picked up the pieces in a sense and patched it all up, and we see the Liverpool we've seen. Next caller coming in, Fidelis, I believe.
Yeah, man.
Oh, did I say that right?
Thank you so much. Turkish, how you guys doing, man?
All good, Fidelis, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I really thank you guys for all the good job you guys are doing there, you know, keeping the Arsenal community together as one family, you know. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that.
No worries, man. We're all Arsenal fans at the end of the day. Some of us are positive, some tend to be negative, some pessimistic, some optimistic, but we all support the same club, so no point getting at each other's necks. Might as well stick together. But what are you saying? How are you feeling heading into this Etihad fixture after dropping points in our last 3 games? What's your general feeling about our chances this season?
Yeah, man. I'm feeling positive, you know. Like they say that it's hope that, you know, because we Arsenal fan, you know, we're hoping that, you know, we'll come out there with a good result. But I have to tell you the truth, you know, the way this Premier League has gone up to this point, Arsenal, this is the greatest opportunity I would say that we have to win the league since 2004, because all the big 4, you know, the big teams, when you talk about Chelsea, you talk about Man United, you know, Liverpool, they've not been having good season. And the guys have been doing great till up to this moment. It's just like the same thing that happened last season when we are chasing the top four. Those games that we expected to win and grab the top four, we collapsed. Same thing happened again. And this time around, I would say Arteta has a big part, in terms of blaming him and everything. He should take a big part of the blame, because we all know that a midfield three of Partey, Odegaard, Vieira doesn't work. We tried it against Bournemouth. Everybody, you understand what happened. We Arsenal fan, we are from the outside, but I will tell you, if you give that team to an Arsenal fan to give you a lineup going into a game, he will come up with a lineup that will win us matches. Okay, we all know that Tierney is a very good player when it comes to defending. Tierney defends better than Zinchenko. Everybody knows that. And Zinchenko, as an inverted left back, he does well in midfield. Yep. Why not play Zinchenko in that midfield of Partey, Odegaard, and Zinchenko? Then play Tierney at left back. That would have been a very good lineup to start that match with. Okay, fine.
So sorry, Fidelis, because I tend to agree. I just look at it as, if Zinchenko starts in midfield, then we don't get the overload because of him moving from another position on the pitch into a midfield that already has 3 players present. But at the same time, I'm with you. I would have liked to see Zinchenko start in midfield at some point this season. Maybe it was against Southampton that it should have been done. So I do get your point there. I do think Xhaka's back. I know he just missed Southampton with an illness. But let me ask you, would you change up anything? Because it looks like we'll have midfield of Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard. That's been our midfield all season. But in defence, we're missing Saliba and Tomiyasu. In attack, there's questions with Trossard and whether he should start. So defensively, would you go with the same back four that we're used to seeing since Saliba's been out, or would you change things up a little?
Yeah, right now, we've all seen the impact of Saliba in that back four. The 3 matches he's been absent now, we saw how the defense is stabilized. Even our goalkeeper that has not been panicking, that we've not seen any error in terms of how he plays out from the back. We saw what he did against our last game against Southampton. But right now, Tomiyasu is injured. Our game against Liverpool at the Emirates, we saw what he did by playing Tomiyasu from the left back, and he clicked. So he's injured. I would say we don't have any option in that back four that we can come in and say, okay, let's shift Ben White to the central defense to pair Gabriel. But no, who is going to play the fullback? And we can't play back 3 against a City. So I would say let us stick with the same back four, of Gabriel. Zinchenko, Gabriel, Holding, and Ben White. And that whenever Ben White is not playing on that fullback, Saka doesn't give his best. I don't know if it's because they've been playing all season and everything. When both of them are playing on that side of the pitch, Saka tends to play very well. So let's not just destabilize that right now, So let's stick to that back four, And I will tell you, there are previous matches that City have played this season that we need to study those matches. Against Leicester, fine, they won Leicester 3-1, but after the changes that Guardiola made, if Kelechi would have finished that chance he had and few other couple of chances that they had, it would have been a different game altogether. We saw what Sheffield did to them, from the beginning of the game and all that. What we need to do is keep it tight at the back. We have very fast attackers in terms of Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, and I know you're going to come to that in terms of the strikers that I would prefer us to have in the front 3. We have to stick on that front 3 because Zinchenko playing at the inverted 3, together with what's his name, Gabriel. These are former City players. They will have a point to prove. Gabriel might be a different beast in that game. So let's stick to that front 3 in that game. And I tell you, I'm very positive that we'll get something positive in that game.
All right, Fidelis, let's end with a prediction then. How positive are you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1. Do we go behind or?
Yeah, we'll score first. City
we'll
will
score
come
first.
back.
Okay.
And we'll get the winning goal.
Okay, fingers crossed. I hope you're right, Fidelis. If you are, then make sure you're calling in next Monday. Listen, even if you're not and you're free, call in next Monday. We'll talk again.
I will, definitely. I will. Thank you, guys. You guys are doing a great job. Appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Fidelis, man. Appreciate your time, man, and coming on.
All right, man. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, Arsenal. Take care of yourself, bro. So we've got Constantine coming in next. I have got super chats that I will leave to the end of the show. And you know what? Let me do the super chats now. London Yardy TV says, Turkish, we can be positive as we Ras Clark want, but the title race blood clot done. This is the only game I expected us to lose ahead of all the others. I assume that last bit says. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, even if we beat West Ham and we beat Southampton, this Etihad game was the one I looked at as very difficult to take anything from, let alone seeing us take 3 points. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Ikenna says, I'd say we need to play differently against City. Keep it a cagey game and try and get a 1-0 win if we're lucky. We can't go toe-to-toe without Saliba. Fair enough. Arthur says, big up Turkish. Is Man City really the concern? Arsenal can still struggle against Newcastle and Brighton. I'm more worried about that. Thoughts? Man City are the immediate concern. And we have to get past this immediate concern to even be nervous or worried about Newcastle and then Brighton, because if we lose at the Etihad, then those Newcastle and Brighton games, yes, we still need to win them and we still need to put up a fight, but it would probably be all for nothing even if we were to get over the line against Newcastle and Brighton. Our recent results have led us to the stage where, again, no lives left. Etihad, it does seem like a win or bust. I would take a draw because it still leaves it all to play for, but a loss and we're finished. So yeah, thank you for that super chat, Arthur. Ikenna again says, I'd say we're in the 12th round and down on the scorecards. A win against City would be like a KO for us. Taking a draw, almost accepting a points L. That's a good analogy as well. That's a good analogy. In the 12th round, if you're down on the scorecards, you need a knockout. And we do need a knockout. I guess me saying I'd take a draw is me being so worried about City ending it against us this Wednesday and, you know, leaving us with nothing come the end of the season, that taking a point would at least still have that little bit of hope that maybe City slip up and maybe we capitalise. But I am kind of with you. We need that 12th round knockout. 40 says, a front three needs Martinelli, not just our best goal scorer, but he is the one player that leaves it all on the pitch, runs back at goal just as hard as he does going forward. 100%. I know El said earlier that should take out Martinelli for Trossard, but for me, Martinelli is the one of the three that is untouchable. That's just my opinion. Ricky says, is it wise to try to beat the master Pep at his game? We were closer to beating City in the 2-1 loss last year, January, when we attacked via the wings with Tierney and Tomiyasu, then in the 3-1 loss this season with an inverted Zinchenko. That's a very good point, Ricky. That is a very good point, because we nearly did take it over the line last season against City, but we all know how that one ended, and we all know how the one this season ended. It needs to change. Ideally, it needs to change now, because we're there and we can get over the line if it does change. But I do have my worries. Last one here from Rizwan before we get another caller in. Turkish, loving the one-on-one shows Monday. Thank you. Appreciate that. Like I said, if you prefer me to have a guest or a co-host on, then let me know in the comment section. But I like a more, one-on-one personal conversation, and they seem to be working well. I tried calling in, but my break's over. Listen, keep the faith. This Arsenal team is special. You'll tell your grandkids about this season one day. Come on, you Gunners. If we don't win the league, I've got other seasons to tell my grandkids and my son and future kids about. I won't be telling them about this season if we don't get over the line. However, this season can still be the start of something special. If we don't get over the line this season and we win it next season and we start competing in the Champions League and so on, then of course you describe this season as the start of something special, like I just said. But in isolation, this season, if we don't get over the line in the Premier League, then why would I talk about this season more than 04 or 02 or 98? I wouldn't. But I understand there's a lot of younger fans out there that didn't see those years. And if I erase that and I look at Arsenal from 2005 onwards, then I guess this is one of the seasons that have stood out more than most in terms of hope, belief, challenging, being special. So I guess it just depends what age bracket we're all in. All right, let's move. Who we got next, production? Oh, sorry, Constantine. Nearly forgot. What are you saying, Constantine, man? All good?
Yeah, hey Turkish, how are you?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm nervous, but I'm good.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to big up the good work you're doing. I really enjoy all your shows, the Big Six, the Forever Arsenal, and so on. So big up the good work.
Thank you very much, my brother. Really appreciate that, man.
What I'd like to say is that if we don't win this title, it's not the Man City game that gave it away. For me, our collapse started in Anfield because when we were 2-0 up, I felt we had the mental edge. Like, had we won that game, for me, it kind of swings the feeling in our direction. And I'm a big believer in performances. And the reason I think we'll get pumped on Wednesday, sorry to tell the truth to the positive merchants, I may be labeled negative, but just the way we gave up silly goals, especially at home, like we're playing bottom Southampton. Like what Ramsdale did is simply unacceptable in my opinion. And I feel like going to that game, there are two sides. The logical sides would tell me that City will just swipe the floor with us. And there's that small glimmer of hope of the Arsenal fan in me that is desperate to see a title and thinks that maybe when all the odds are stacked against us, we may actually rise up to the occasion and surprise people. But it would be a surprise. For me, we really need Arteta to earn his money this week and set up the team in a way that we surprise City.
Yeah, it'll be a big surprise if we get the 3 points. Listen, you know what this main topic's about, Saliba being absent from this game. I think it was pretty much to be expected considering how vague Arteta and the club have been about his, rehabilitation and how soon he'll be able to get back on the pitch. But do you think, Saliba being out is fatal to our chances of getting a win at the Etihad, or do you still think we can get the win regardless of Saliba being there or not?
It shouldn't matter. Like Saliba's absence is definitely a reason why our performances have dropped. But I see people who blame Rob Holding solely for this. And it's not Rob Holding's fault that Ramsdale gave the ball away and Zini couldn't string. We couldn't string 3 passes away. Zini was terrible again. We should be able to adapt. Like for me, this is the difference because Pep, for example, dropped De Bruyne in December, and people are like, "What is he doing?" But now he's fresh and he's playing his best football because you need to be accountable. And I feel like people at Arsenal get too many chances. It's like Arteta said he loved the players. Like I love them too. They gave me a very emotional and happy season so far. But that doesn't mean that when you play poorly, you shouldn't be off. And I feel like we've put too many chances in some people. And for example, I think Fabio Vieira was terrible against Southampton. But how many minutes has he played? Like there's no trust in the bench. And if you want to integrate them in the last 8 games of the season, it's the worst time. Like what are they supposed to do if they haven't played all season? For me, you either trust them or you don't. Like we're somewhere in the middle, and that indecisiveness is what's costing us, in my opinion.
Yeah, and what about on the other side, the front three? A lot of calls for Trossard to potentially start this game. Would you change up the front three, bring Trossard in, or would you keep it the same and bring Trossard off the bench?
I'm bringing him in. For me, we have to surprise City, and that means bringing some changes. And I would go with Trossard instead of Jesus, because I think Jesus has been too emotional recently, and that game the occasion might hit him again. And Thierry is right. We need cool heads at the moment.
What makes you say Jesus has been emotional? Was it his interview after the Southampton game, or performances on the pitch and his, body language?
Both. Like against Liverpool, for example, he started being on the ref's head too much. He was begging for fouls against Southampton, begging for a penalty. Like we could have won the game had we kept a cool head. We could have scored the winning goal. And we were too emotional, and Jesus, for me, is the one getting dropped.
So you'd go with Martinelli, Trossard up top, and Saka on the right. So
yeah, Martinelli is the best player we have at the moment. Saka has been too good for us. And Trossard has been, since we dropped Trossard, we haven't won a game. People forget that.
And I do agree with you. Martinelli currently is the best player we have at the moment. And Saka all season he's been so important, so it is hard to drop Jesus for me because it is his old club, and I think this is his time to shine in a sense. very difficult job it will be to shine at the Etihad against Man City. But I also understand that Trossard has become somewhat of an intriguing, interesting player for us, because anytime he does play, he does show signs and quality that he can help us score goals and help us keep the ball and help us knit together. The wingers coming in and he takes shots. I mean, there's an argument to be had that you are right, Constantine. Maybe Trossard starts ahead of Jesus. I'd favour Jesus, but either way, I just want to see Martinelli starting, and I don't care who the other two are. That's just how I see it come this Wednesday. Constantine, let's wrap up with a prediction from you. Wednesday night, Etihad, Man City away. What do you think the score is going to be?
Yeah, I just want to add one small thing. I just want to see a performance to make us proud. I want us to go there and just swing the tide, like show that we're not just going to lie down, because right now we're just choking on our own saliva. But if I have to go with the real prediction, I think 4-1 City. Like, I don't see it really getting win.
Yeah. Was that 4-1 City, yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to be negative, but it's just reality tells me we're going to be smashed.
No, I get you. Listen, some people predict with their hearts, some people predict with their heads. It is what it is. I don't see it as being negative, even though a lot of people would call it negative. You're just being real to yourself, and I understand why you would make that prediction too. Constantine, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you, my guy. Maybe same time next Monday if you're free. Look after yourself and look after the family.
Peace. All the best to you as well.
Love, my brother. Thank you for the support. Production, we got anyone else coming in? I believe we have Elliot coming in. Last caller. Yes, Elliot. What are you saying, man?
Turkish, how are you?
I'm nervous. How are you, Elliot?
I see your no merge policy is still in effect. I can see that.
The no what policy?
The no merge policy. That is.
Oh, mate.
I'm still holding you to that bet. I'm still holding you to that bet.
Don't worry. Soon come, man. Soon come. Yeah, soon come.
Okay. But I wanted to I wanted people to come back into my church. Yeah. And I want people to cast their minds back. Now, I know for the millennials and zennials, they won't remember this. But I want people to cast their minds back to a very, very, very important year in Arsenal history, and that is 1989.
Mm-hmm.
In 1989, we went out of the FA Cup in the third round. We went out of the League Cup in the third round. And as I quote, at one stage, I'm quoting this from Wikipedia here. At one stage, Arsenal were 11 points clear of Liverpool, but a series of draws and surprising defeats allowed the gap to be closed. By the time Arsenal faced Liverpool on the final day, they were faced with an improbable challenge, winning by a 2-goal margin against the defending champions to claim the title. Does that remind you of any recent team of recent memory?
Well, I assume you're talking about this season and the lead we had on Man City.
I would say so, sir. Because remember, we had an 8-point lead on Man City at one time, didn't we? No.
Yeah.
That has dwindled away, hasn't it?
It's gone, mate.
Oh, it's gone. It's literally gone. So we've been asked for a quote-unquote improbable challenge. We have to walk into the Etihad and pull out not a 2-goal margin, but a 1-goal margin against, some would say, the most formidable team in Premier League history. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, they're up there for sure.
They're definitely up there. Now, imagine casting it back to 1989, where Arsenal had the same sort of team, a mix of youth and veterans, nobody giving them a chance, and they had to all do this on the final day.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that in this instance. Luckily, we have about 6 or 7 matches in which we could redress the balance, yes?
Yep.
So what I say to all my people, now again, they are entitled to their opinion. They are our supporters, one and all, and their opinions are totally valid. But imagine the mountain 1989 side had to climb in order to win, and nobody gave them a chance. I'm just saying that some of our supporters out there need to give their head a shake a bit. Because this challenge will make or break this edition of the team like it did the 1989 edition. Because what did the 1989 edition do after they won that title? They went on to subsequent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was about 17 years since 71 to 89, I think 18, 19. I think it's about the same time range.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say this to all the people out there who doubt and who worry, and they have every entitled right to do so. We are on the precipice of greatness. And with that come doubt, with that come worry, with that come frustration, with that come all sorts of negative mindsets. Let us remember here that you must live through the bad to get to the good. That's an old Hebrew saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is the bad we're in right now. We're in the bad stage. Yes, absolutely. We drew to.
I thought you meant a couple of years ago was the bad stage, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Oh, that was that. Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. But this is the end of it.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the tail end of it. We went through the bad until we see the good. This is the end stage of the bad. We have to get through this. And now we walk into the lines then that is seated at Manchester Stadium and ask ourselves, do we have the minerals in order to get through to the end of this? And I say we do.
Mm-hmm.
I really say we do.
But
to those who doubt, you're entitled to that doubt.
Elliot,
but I say we do.
Let's take, okay, I understand. Let's take 89 out of the equation, because I can also give examples of teams that have slipped up leading up to a title race and they haven't managed to get it back. So is there any other factors from here and now that give that are part of your belief and confidence that we can get a positive 3-point result on Wednesday? Or is it based off of what you're saying here about, you know, history and being in a worse position and still coming out champions? Do you have more factors and examples from now that give you this belief?
I don't wish to answer a question with a question, but let's say this. Do you believe Arsenal played the best football thus far this year?
Yeah.
Overall?
Yeah.
Do you think we have odds on some of the best players in this league, including Saka, Martinelli, and Odegaard?
Yep.
Going into this game? Do you think that we have a goalkeeper who, despite his misgivings, have made some of the saves of the season and have literally put us in a place and on the precipice of greatness?
Yeah, Ramsdale's done an awful lot for what we're doing now.
And would you say that, despite it all, our midfield, if they come out on the day of Partey, Xhaka, and Odegaard, can match up with the midfield of a Man City?
I can't say yes for that, Elliot. I haven't seen it yet to say yes.
Okay, fair enough. But you answered 3 out of those 4 questions in the affirmative.
Yep.
I said 2 out of 3. There's a 3 out of me answer.
Yeah, 3 out of 4, yeah.
That's 3 out of 4. That should give you every reason to go in this with a bit of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let your eyes lie to you. You see on that pitch what can be done when things are going very well. We are very, very good, even without a Saliba in the lineup. Sure, it's going to take some tweaking. Sure, it's going to take some maneuverability. I would go with the 4-2-3-1 myself.
Mm-hmm. So you would keep the same backline?
I would keep. Well, we have no choice now.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't think we have a choice, really. I don't think Arteta is going to change his stripes now. I mean, we could, but I don't think he's going to change his stripes now. I think he's going to go with holding. So we have to fortify the midfield.
Okay.
I think Xhaka has to be a little more defensive now and not being as marauding. But we have to play clever here. We have to box clever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, there is a chance. There has always been a chance. 89, there was a chance, and definitely now we have a chance. and with games to spare, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
And as you've already answered, we have the tools necessary to get the job done, despite the fact that one integral tool is not there.
Yep.
Right? Now, I was, as you, very, very frustrated at our performance at Southampton, but I heard back to the A19 team. They had 6 losses going into that final match. 6. We only have 3.
Mm-hmm.
We've overcome our 3 obstacles now. It is time for us to turn it on. And if you are an Arsenal supporter out there, you need to ask yourself, do I support this side or I don't? Now's the time where this team needs you. It needs you badly.
Do you think?
And
do you think predicting?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you think me predicting a loss is me not supporting the team? Because I think both can live as one.
They can both live. They can both live there. I can understand that, but again, this team is full of surprises, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Full of surprises.
All season. Yep.
Like any team. This is not like Zenith, Man City, where you have 2 banks of all all lead sides available at your disposal. No. But we have to treat this like a cup final. You have to treat it like a cup final. Simple as that. Our job is to go in there, get the job done, and leave. And Arteta should be summoning the team to that effect. And if he doesn't, well, he's not doing his job. But I suspect he will. With Lord knows, he's showing light bulbs and brains and hearts and all sorts of histrionics in order to get his team ready. And I don't suspect the same. If he wants to call on me to help, get everybody ready, he's welcome to do so. But at the end of the day, we have a chance, people.
Mm-hmm. We do.
We need to take that chance.
We do.
And if we do, the sky's the limit.
If we don't,
it really is. If we don't, we go again.
Okay.
Go again. But let's take our hearts and minds forward to Wednesday and realize that this team has overcome so much over the last 4 to 5 months. Nobody believed this team to get here. And yet we're here. So all the team asks of you is your support. If you don't predict the win, don't predict the win. But on the day, support the side.
Of course.
Because 89 had a much higher hill to climb than what we have here. And yet they still did it. Why can't we?
Well, I hope Arteta uses similar examples to lift the team and lift the squad, because at the start of the show I mentioned 89, I mentioned 2002 at Old Trafford as well as moments similar to this one, where we went to the title rivals, grand opposition, and we've managed to pull out wins that took us over the line. A win at Etihad won't take us over the line on Wednesday, but it will go a long way in helping us get over the line come the end of the season. So I hope Arteta uses the same examples you've just used.
There's miles to go in this fight, but this is a decisive fight.
Yep, it is.
And listen, as you were asking before, I'll take a draw in this thing. As long as we can stay in this fight. Absolutely, I'll take a draw.
Yeah.
I'll take a draw. But if we win now, if we win now that will take us to the title. I'll say it now. I'll predict it now. Clip it.
I agree. So clip me as well. If we win at Etihad on Wednesday, we win the league title. That's how I see it.
And then you change your merch policy.
Listen, my merch policy is more or less changed in the sense of all I wanted is a team that competes and challenges, and this is a team that competes and challenges. It's not a case of if we win the league, you're going to see me in merch again. It's not about strictly winning to see me back in an Arsenal shirt or an Arsenal tracksuit. It's about seeing what we've seen all season and maintaining this consistency and level, because there can only be one winner, and you're coming up against not only one juggernaut, but the way Chelsea and United spend money too. They are juggernauts in their own right, just not on the pitch yet. So I'm back at that stage where I'm looking at a few pieces of merch thinking, oh, that tracksuit will sit nicely. So maybe soon.
I'd say a hat. Let's start with a hat.
Yeah. a good old hat. How do you know I like hats, Elliot?
I'll give us a hat. You give us a hat. And that's a start. That's a wonderful start. That's a wonderful start, Turkish. Just give us a hat. A hat, and we'll be totally satisfied. We see you on a hat on AFTV. Let me say something right now. The social media will break. It'll break. The internet will break to see Turkish in an Arsenal supporter.
Say no more. I'll remember that. Soon come, Elliot. Make sure you're here every Monday, and then you might see me in one sooner rather than later. Elliot, I want to leave with
I will return
with a prediction from you. Wednesday night's game.
I will take what the previous caller had said, and I'll take a 2-1 win. I'm going in. Yes. Hearts and minds totally sinewed to the task at hand. 2-1 win. But I'll take a draw. Let me say that. I'll take a draw.
Yeah.
But 2-1 win, definitely.
2-1 win. Elliot, pleasure talking to you, my guy. Hopefully same again next Monday.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.
Up the Gunners.
Come on, Gunners. Take care of yourself. Take care of the family. A couple super chats before I wrap it up. That is the last caller, people. If you did call in and didn't get through, apologies. We're 1 hour and 22 minutes in already. It's meant to be an hour show, but I enjoyed the conversation, so here we are. Let me finish off with the super chats. Nashi says, bench Xhaka and play Trossard. Cezanne says, Jesus is not fully fit. Trossard should start. And finally, here's one from McKenna again. Also, in my opinion, we're not ahead of schedule. If we reached our goal of top 4 last season, we would be expecting a title challenge this season. And if you look at it like that, then I tend to agree as well. I look at it more from a bigger picture, bird's eye view. 3 years on from the mess we were in, if everything is done right, proactively, with the support of the ownership, then we should be back to challenging. But either way you look at it, I think we're on schedule more than we are ahead of schedule or behind schedule. So yeah, let's just hope we get over the line. Like I said, that was the last caller. Appreciate every single one of you that have taken part, engaged in the chat. There's over 1,000 viewers here. So love for the love there. Hit the like button on your way out. We haven't even hit 500 likes yet, so let's get it up to as high as we can, people. It doesn't cost a thing. Hit the like button. Download the AFTV Plus app if you want to take part. Every Monday I'm here live at 5 p.m. FANZONE, and every Friday Robbie is live 5 p.m. with a co-host, and you can talk to Robbie and give your thoughts to him and ask him what you want to ask him as well. And that's it, people. We've got a lot of good content coming out tonight over the next day or so. We was at the Etihad, like I said. Forever Arsenal came out this morning, so make sure you tune into that. If you haven't already, it's always a good one. It's always good talking to the lads. Probably one of my favorite shows that I take part in, Forever Arsenal. And I've got Big Six tonight on my channel, so subscribe, Turkish LDN. That's my channel. Big Six tonight, 9 p.m. I know they're going to be after me, but a couple of their teams are in the mud as well anyway, so I'll put up a good fight. Listen, we're going to wrap it up here, people. This has been FANZONE, Monday, 48 hours away from that big Premier League final, Arsenal at the Etihad. Come on, Arsenal. One roll of the dice. Let's get it done. Love for the love, people. We're out. Peace.
Introducing FANZONE. My friend Elliot from Canada.
We are still
Say we
top of the league. We are top of the league. We are top of the league. Say we are top of the league.
Allows any fan, anywhere you are on the planet, to broadcast live into our shows at the push of a button via our website or app.
I'm tired of hearing about the Europa League like it's silverware. So is the League Cup. So is the Dubai Cup. So is the Community Shield.
Michael, come on, they're not the same level.
No, I mean it.
Cecile. My guy.
FANZONE on AFTV Plus. You can download it on iOS or the Play Store and have your say.